And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear.
And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Devour much flesh.
And just there we see the 4 strap-on boosters jettison the first stage, and the strap-on boosters completing their job, dropping away at an altitude of 28 statute miles. At this point, the Soyuz is traveling at about 3,350 miles per hour. You can see the 4 strap-on boosters all separated from the Soyuz successfully, that core stage continuing to fire.
And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. And dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured, and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
I believe that it's important for the future to be a spacefaring civilization, and out there, ultimately be out there among the stars. And I think that's the exciting, inspiring future.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Up there. And we're now about to fly sort of version 2 and version 3. And with each one, we're able to make the reusability of the heat shield better. So
it ablates less as it enters, and so we're able to get more flights. So that's Dragon version 2.
I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
So I'm sitting here in the pilot seat. Pull it down.
If there had been people sitting in the Dragon capsule today, they would have had a very nice ride. There's only one major development item, and that is the launch escape system. We're going to build the escape engines into the sidewall of the spacecraft. You'll actually be able to have escape capability all the way to orbit. Even the Apollo didn't have that.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Dragon is in countdown.
FTS is armed. Go for launch.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Semper Fi, aim high. Go Falcon, go Dragon.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion's nominal.
Falcon power and telemetry nominal.
Eagle. Dragon launch escape initiated.
Trickle firings are looking good.
Stage 1 throttle down. I see 10 meters per second horizontal. Good main chutes release.
Velocity decreasing.
Also, because you don't have to release the escape tower every time, you don't have that as a necessary thing that has to occur with every flight. Crew capability is the very reason SpaceX was founded. So we will do whatever we need to do to make this happen.
Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority, and great authority, and great authority, and great authority. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth, and them which dwell therein, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward, and northward, and southward, so that no beasts might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will, and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth. and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, The 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume, and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
So this is a dragon capsule, a crew dragon, or red dragon, or dragon 2. And then on the left side of the screen we have a different kind of dragon, a fire-breathing, like a creature. And then we have this guy doing that with the fire. But I have a question for you. Is the one on the left or the one on the right, which one is really what we're seeing up in the sky? Is it the cartoon on the left, or is it the dragon capsule that's on the right? Think about that for a minute. I hope you can see why I'm asking the question. What's realistic? What do we actually see? What's real? Do we see a cartoon red dragon with wings and something like on the left side there? Do we see that up in heaven? Or do we see this other space capsule up there, like in the background and on the right side of the screen? Because in Revelation, John said he saw something in heaven. It was a great red dragon. and it deceived the whole world. I kind of know of a deception that has been exposed in the last 3 or 4 years. So, if you're a Bible believer, I just want to ask you that question. Which one of these is real? And which one of these is deceiving the whole world? And is this literally fire coming down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men?
These great beasts, which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth, 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 which shall arise out of the earth. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.